So we're here with Goblin Hovel.
Hey, everyone.
You guys are now tired from playing a show here.
Yeah, that was a workout, I would say so. Well, for me, let alone the rest of the guys.
Yes.
Very much so. The state of the face paint.
I'm more hungry than tired.
Your face paint actually stayed pretty decent, considering.
I feel like the one I've been going with lately has been sticking better. Yeah. So I think thank you, NYX Makeup, I believe.
Give us an endorsement.
Please. We need money, please.
So, introduce yourselves and what you do in the band.
So, Rose Garage, I am the nameless Goblin. I play bass. And
Wait. Did you just say your name and then say you're the nameless Goblin?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Go ahead.
I am the nameless Goblin. I play bass. I play with people's minds, and I make noises with my mouth.
I am Dan Barbarian. And I do vocals, and I play rhythm guitar.
I'm PETA. I put the folk in what is presumably folk metal here, banjo and mandolin.
I'm Rawbeard. I keep this band going for far longer than it should. And I abuse the fuck out of my whammy bar.
I've been dubbed Sun G, and I play drums in this band, and I will not play drums in any of your bands.
You heard it here first.
I play in too many bands, for the record.
All right, how many bands are each of you in?
Currently, I am in this one. I am a mercenary for another, and I'm in a band with my wife. So I guess that's 2.5.
And what are the other bands?
The one with my wife is Grey's Anathema. And the one that I'm a mercenary for, just doing every now and again, is a band called Ira. It's progressive metal.
Okay.
I am in Myth Begotten, epic folk metal band. Find our recent album, The Tales from Unseelie Court, on all streaming services and Bandcamp. I am in The Atrocity Tourist, featuring PETA and Rawbeard. This is murder ballad metal,
nice.
Kind of avant-garde metal vibes. And this, so just the three. Currently.
Just the three.
Only other active one right now is Atrocity Tourist. I play the same dumb things, instruments as in this band and that band.
I'm also in Wandering Oak. I am the frontman and songwriter for that band. Like they said, Atrocity Tourist. I am also in a black metal band called Helianthus that is putting out some music, kind of a super group. Has a vocalist from Feminazgul we may have heard of.
Yeah.
And Andy from Hubris and Ferriston. Nick, who plays bass, and Empress, who have been doing some stuff.
Okay, from Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our drummer is in a few bands down in North Carolina, like All Hell. You ever heard of All Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the drummer for that and some other bands. And then I have a smattering of other side projects. So, yeah.
And you guys are from where?
Helianthus.
Helianthus? So Helianthus is, we're all spread up and down the East Coast. So, I'm up here. Laura's all the way down in Atlanta. Andy's in Raleigh. Our drummer is in Asheville, and Nick is in Baltimore now.
Well, no, I mean this band.
This band. Well, we're from all over the shores of Lake Ontario. Buffalo.
We are Buff Chest area.
Yeah.
Buff Chest area, and although this guy comes from Syracuse originally, so I still count that.
Rochester by way of Syracuse, Rochester by way of
Southern tier.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been in Rochester a while. It's like we all live in Buffalo or Rochester right now.
Rochester by way of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And both Buffalo. So that's where we're from now.
For some reason, I thought one of you was from further away.
I mean, Rob is technically.
Yeah, the closest thing I can think of is Rob made the journey out here from Western Mass.
Derek is from the Goblin realms, which are very far away.
It's actually somewhere just south of Meadville, Pennsylvania, where before you reach Pittsburgh, it's a little trash dump. That's kind of where I spontaneously formed into existence.
Okay. How long has this been a thing?
Some incarnation of the band has been going since 2010.
Okay.
That was I'm actually being serious. It was from Meadville, Pennsylvania originally.
Okay.
So it was me, completely different lineup from like all over the country. Came to Buffalo. That's where that's about midway through 2012, 2013. That was a full Buffalo lineup. And I guess now it's evolved into this. Sometimes I forget even how it happened. It's all gone so fast.
All 15 years went so fast?
Yeah, you'd be surprised when like you look at our Bandcamp and you see like all these
releases,
yeah. Whether it's singles, EPs, or whatever. It feels like I've done one a year or two a year, and it's just I've started referring to my life in Goblin Hovel album milestones. Like, when I recorded Loveless Loreless, I was living in Buffalo. When I recorded Eldfest or Our Haunted Garden, I was living in Meadville. When I recorded Gabish Gavrat, I knew these guys, so et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It all blends together, man.
No, it makes sense. What so a lot of the stuff on your Bandcamp is more folk metal. Or just folky, I mean. Like acoustic folk stuff.
It's more folky, and originally it's almost like Tom Waits, if Tom Waits pushed the extra mile into death screams instead of his, normal hipster growls. We got more folk metally, acoustic folk metally once these guys joined up. We actually got straight up metal when he joined. How many years ago was it?
So I first joined on drums in 2012 through 2015. And then...
Was that an accident?
No.
Okay.
So Derek Goblin actually put out a Facebook post saying, "Hey, I want to make this into a live lineup. Who's interested?" And I volunteered to do drums. I was playing
You poor sap.
in another folk metal band, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Sounds fun." And I was in there for 4 years. I recorded an EP. The self-titled EP, I was on 4 of those songs. I left, and then I was asked to come back in 2020 to play one show, and here we are, 2 more recorded albums later.
Making him actually the longest-serving remaining Hovel member. Damn.
I feel like I've accumulated more time, though.
Yeah. I mean, with all
by force.
Yeah, by force.
So, what does the name come from?
So back when I was in college, I wasn't the good kid that you see now.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I had a very, very intense black metal phase where I made a lot of enemies of a lot of I guess you would say religious students and religious faculty and traveling preachers that came to the school. So one day I was just walking down the street in corpse paint and spikes and leather jacket as you do.
Right.
I had hair down to my stomach at the time, something like that. And I just remember this preacher he was outside the chapel. He was screaming at me because he saw me smoking. He's like, "You are making a hovel of the house of God, sir." And so, mind you, I just left my previous band, Gnome Hut. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, I just left this band. I need a name. It has to be something with Goblin. That was my pseudonym. I should look for something with an H at the end to make it more convenient for people to know what I am. And when he yelled to me, "You're making a hovel of the house of God," I was like, "Oh, Goblin Hovel. There you go. That's me."
Where did you go to school? Where was the school? What kind of school was this?
This was Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. It's not a bad place. It's just in the middle of backwoods lumber town nowhere. Was
there a huge religious thing going on in this town or in the school itself?
It was predominantly in the town.
Okay.
There were a lot of students at the school that were not religious. There were some that were.
Gotcha.
And that was a big part of how Goblin Hovel got its initial traction, because we scared the hell out of so many of the religious students and staff we didn't even do anything bad. We were just wearing corpse paint and Thor's hammers and having long hair, and that was enough.
When he said that to you, did you like crack up? I mean, like, cause I just can't imagine someone saying that to me.
Well, I wasn't like, I was 19 years old and I had just woken up for my first class, and I was just like, I hadn't had my coffee yet. I was just like,
it's kind of a coffee in itself, like in itself, you know, like, and that'll wake you up.
This is what I'm dealing with right out of the gate. So I was shocked, but I didn't. It didn't piss me off. It didn't get me anything. But you talking to me?
So, how many releases do you have total, and how many do you have that are heavy?
Help me out. I keep getting this wrong. How many releases do we have? It's like
15.
You have to like open up the band.
Yeah. Like,
All right, I'm gonna say 15.
I'm gonna
say 16 total bodies of work.
This is Price is Right rules.
If you go over, you lose.
Yeah, 18.
18. Do we have 20?
I think you're closest.
All right.
You said 16.
I said 16 bodies of work. That means.
Are we
like,
just counting every? Okay, so are we counting Kabbalist because it's a single?
No, I'm not actually counting Kabbalah.
Okay, so we have Lord of Misrule, Our Haunted Garden, Self-Titled, Wonders Gone Dark, Shadows Brought to Life, Skipping Kabbalist, Skipping Strigiform Avatar.
No, keep Strigiform Avatar.
Okay.
That's unique stuff.
Roots That Broke the Stone.
Yep.
Great Reversal's a compilation.
No, it's not. Great Reversal is all unique. Yep.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
Loveless Loris Lost is 8.
Yep.
Blood Among the Leaves and Water.
Yep.
Oh, 5-year chronology. That's
Yeah,
okay. That's
skip
what I was
that,
thinking.
'cause
It
Okay.
looks similar, the cover.
Yeah.
Right, that's what it was. Revered Revenant of Reverence is 10.
Yep.
The Italian album,
La Città di Tre Volti.
11. The next Italian album,
Scio et Scriptum Est. That's
Okay.
Latin. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
close enough.
That's just old Italian.
all right, so that's 12. A Bright Side of the Dark Forest,
Right.
Nothing Like Our Fantasy,
Yep.
Comedy of Forms, Tragedy of Function is 15. The one you surprise released on us, the As Hit
As It Kaiser, which
so it's
is
16.
Yep. Which
At Home and Heart of the Haunting, another one,
Yep.
17. Whatever Keeps the Lights On,
Yep.
which is with this lineup, and then
is
Garbage
everyone.
Cravat, which is 19.
Yep.
Okay,
There's
so
nine-
how did you surprise release something?
So some,
Have
yeah,
to go in or whatever.
sometimes
There we go, thank
a lot of the times I'll just go into the studio, especially if it's acoustic, and I'll just do everything myself.
Okay.
I don't, and especially if it's not heavy. Like if it's something like At Home in the Heart of the Haunting or As It Gaillard, I won't even bother throwing it at these guys because it's so sappy and it's so sweet and it's so like singer-songwritery or gothic that it's
No, it's
just
like a surprise.
The Rosy Hours is such a sweet, sentimental piece.
it is about the Phantom of the Opera, so like
well, my question is, when you guys see that Goblin Hovel have a new release out, and you didn't know anything about it,
This has
do you
happened
feel like
multiple times.
are
This
you
has
still-
happened
am I still in the band?
It's happened before, yeah.
No, we know, especially, it's been fairly consistently at points like the release cycle would be there's an album, and then at some point indeterminate between that and the next full album, Derek releases a EP that none of us knew about. And so it
So there does seem to be a designation of the songs we play live and versus the songs that he does by himself, and it's just so it is kind of he can probably differentiate those.
Except for is Parlor Trick the only one from the EPs that we do?
Yeah, I think Parlor Trick is one of the only ones from the EPs that we do. The one that we did, this one earlier was the one that I did the big spiel about divination on.
Yes. Yeah.
That was from one of those EPs. I wrote it for a songwriting competition in the suburban town of Clarence, New York.
Oh.
And I wrote it about one of the clients at the songwriting competition. And I told her as much when I performed it for the first time. And she and I are still friends. So that it all worked out in the end. But
Hey, I think you're a fucking phony.
well, I mean, she has since given up on that stuff. So
Is it someone I know?
No, it's not someone I've introduced you to. But it's personal growth.
So I can't picture the look on their face.
No, you cannot picture the look on her face when she did that.
So do you write all the lyrics?
I currently, I write all the lyrics.
And the music, is that start with you and then evolve out, or
it depends. Like when we played Lady of the Noose, the one in 7 from earlier, and that's actually, it started with him. And we jammed on it at acoustic rehearsal a couple of times. Parlor Trick actually was me. Then I got stuck. Then he helped me write the chorus. Essentially,
I just was like, try that note, and then that's the chorus. That's where the chorus starts on like that. That's one of the other notes.
I think the only song where you didn't write any of the music was Boracall.
Yeah, like there's
that was the one song where I wrote all the music, but then you wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, like there's a lot of the most recent stuff too is stuff where I'll start with something, but I'm not a guitarist. So when I fumble through fan picking an instrument with my full hand like some kind of dolphin, I'll turn it over to Rob or Robbie and be like, hey man, can you make this sound good? And we can use it. Or I since I'm not a singer either, I'm not a very good clean singer, I'll record myself flopping my dolphin flipper on an acoustic guitar, and I'll send a video to Dan Barbarian and be like, hey, I'm not a singer. Can you make this vocal melody sound good?
Most of the time we'll say, no, this sucks.
Yeah, there have been times when that's happened too.
No.
There have been. But I'm glad for it, but...
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm glad for it, like Nostos, which we didn't play today, but there is...
Allegedly.
So, as far as, do you play out a lot?
Depends on how we're feeling year to year.
Okay.
Yeah. Relatively speaking, no. Compared to
everyone else's band.
Compared to Wandering Oak, definitely not.
Yeah.
So why don't you play out more?
It's my fault.
Okay.
It is entirely my fault.
He's a homebody.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm level with you. I like nothing more in life than staying at home with my wife and my cat, painting Warhammer figures to like trying to get to the level of heavy metal like it was back in the day. I love playing just, fucking around on the drums. I like that stuff. Playing Warhammer with my mates, I like my day job more than my night job. So I'm very much like these guys, especially him will be like, hey, we found these great shows to play. You wanna go out and play? And my immediate reaction is like, I have to sit and wait and be like, no, it's okay. You can play shows. You can ask time off. All right, let's play a show.
Or it's strategic and we're trying to create scarcity.
Let's go with that so I don't have to pretend to feel emotions.
to such degrees that we just keep announcing that the band's over and then we get back together.
Oh, yeah. Constant last shows. It's always a good idea.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was not in the band, I had played with Goblin Hovel as a different act, what was supposed to be their last show. And on a separate occasion earlier, I had booked them for what was supposed to be their last show.
So you can attest to it, yeah.
Yeah.
There's always something that keeps me
Brings you
coming back. And that something is sitting right over there.
I think we've learned that it doesn't always need to die. It can just hibernate for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. Like
We all need to recharge our batteries sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why I will no longer ever say this is our last show. I know by now. I know better.
It's like a wrestler or a musician retiring.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Kiss's farewell tour.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that's the first thing everyone thinks of.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, there's Kiss. There's Ozzy.
Oh, dude.
Wasn't there Iron? Didn't
Slayer.
Iron Man do
No, Iron
something?
Man.
Slayer.
Yeah.
It's like, we're retiring? No,
Definitely
we're not.
Slayer.
Motley Crue, although that's more like, please retire.
Just please stop.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened to you playing a show live?
Oh.
I'm on pills.
phrase "I'm on pills" comes to mind.
So let me tell you this story. So we played as an acoustic line. We played Pocono Folk Metal Festival. You were not there, so this
In
is
Stroudsburg.
Stroudsburg, PA. Yeah. Pocono Folk Metal Festival, and God,
Is this the first year or the second?
Yeah, it was the first year.
Okay,
this sound guy was god awful, and the amps they were using for like the community were this close to catching fire.
Oh, beautiful.
Already.
One did explode.
Yep.
Okay.
And when we took to the stage, and like we already we were the Slipknot of folk music, so we had like 9 members. We had all these acoustic instruments plugged in, and the second we start playing, not only are our levels wrong, but when he starts singing, his microphone had this effect on it where his voice went chipmunk immediately.
I don't even know how you do that on a
Like
soundboard.
16 octaves up, and we just fell apart laughing. We were just like, we can't do this anymore. I got on the mic to the guy, like, sound guy, what is going on? And on the talkback mic, he goes, I'm on pills. And he just left it at
Best
that.
explanation ever.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so you know what? Do me a favor and cut the fucking power. We are an acoustic band. We will do this solidly acoustic. And we did that set solidly acoustic.
Yeah, we jumped into the crowd and just played in the crowd.
And that got
awesome.
that got us an invitation back. It was weird, but it got us an invitation
It's like
back.
that was also the ultimate example of making the best out of the situation and be like, okay, what do we do here? Just go play right in everyone's face.
That's the second time that happened to Unplugged Hovel too, because it happened in Revere that one time.
Oh, yeah!
Oh God, at Sammy's.
Yeah, we something happened with the power, and we had to just pivot to fully acoustic.
It was a lightning
It
storm.
wasn't pill related though.
Okay.
It was not
This time was not pill related.
No.
But I do remember that. I do remember that they had to delay everyone else because everyone was relying on power.
Oh.
So I made the joke when we just got up there and the power went out. I was like, huh. It's almost like we don't need to rely on power to be metal. Let's just do this. We made friends that night.
I was gonna say, wow.
We made friends because of just who we were with, but I'm certain we would have made enemies if that was anywhere else.
What's your favorite show you've ever played as Goblin Hovel?
Favorite show? God, that's up in the
I think
air.
we should all just answer on our own.
Yeah, really.
That's fine.
My favorite show, or at least my most memorable show yet, has been RPM Fest.
Yeah.
Like, we've played with a lot of decently big acts. Like, we did get to play with Tanger Cavalry, and that was cool. That's my second favorite. Rest in peace, nature. But, honestly, the crowd at RPM Fest, it was smaller for us, but they were into it. Cool. And we made a lot of friends there, and it was a lot of fun. And I still at least see videos and comments and whatever popping up about our set at RPM. And
oh, cool.
So like in terms of like making friends and influencing people, that's my vote.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. RPM and Tanger Cavalry are definitely big ones. I think another one for me would be our second time performing at Maryland Folk Metal Festival. Which was the
2022?
one, yeah, where everyone did we played our song Diary of a Teapot, and people started doing a teapot pit.
Yes, it's
doing
true.
this.
I forgot about that.
Which I will never forget. Baltimore is an amazing place to play.
Shout out to Baltimore people.
Yep.
Yo, what's up? We love you. Vita?
Yeah. Going back to, like all those ones, but it's like, I'm thinking of it was one of the final acoustic ones we did. It was Shadowwoods 2018.
Yeah,
it was,
that was a good
I had just been living in Maine for a year, and I moved back weeks before, and just like, instantly went and rejoined the band because it's like, I lived in a small town in Maine and didn't know anyone who played music, so like jumped at the chance to get back, and it was just like, it was a solid set, it was a solid like lineup and crowd, and kind of welcome back to like playing weird acoustic music in the setting.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, they've listed off a lot of our best ones for sure. I think our album release show back in November was also very good.
That was very good.
Yeah, you saw that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to say, but I think in terms of the overall show, dressing up all snazzy and doing the whole album as a work, that was great. But also RPM was pretty awesome too. I feel like it might be a tie between those two for me.
Two that come to mind is the Baltimore Maryland Folk Metal Show for sure. That was just neat.
Yeah.
And back in 2015, I had a fest on my parents' property. Fest is called Power Folk Belly Dance. It was power metal bands, folk metal bands, and belly dancers, just all switching. And so that was my last show with Goblin Hovel up to that point in my first time in. So Electric Goblin Hovel opened the show, and then Acoustic Goblin Hovel featuring Rob.
It's like one of my first. That was like my first.
Yeah, they closed the show. Yeah. So that was just kind of like memorable for me. Like event organizers, it's like it's different, but it was just like fun. And I did upload the Electric set onto YouTube because my mom recorded all that stuff, and I've watched it a couple times. And it's me and Derek and two other guys who haven't been in the band since like 2015.
Yeah,
but it's just fun. So
when are you gonna do it again?
Memories. We all have great memories.
Look, it's there's nostalgia and history and mythology have the same mechanic of letting go and leaving be. Flick that little switch in your mind. Preserve. Do not renovate.
So as far as the bits in between songs, where did that come from? Why did you start doing that?
The bits, you mean like the little explanations?
Yeah. Rather than just playing the songs.
So the answer is it's multiple fold. So I have beef with Rammstein's vocalist when he says it's not cool to address the audience and it's not cool to make your audience a part of the show. So I've always been of the opinion that folk metal and folk music, what we do, belongs to everybody. Sure. So everybody has to be a part of it. So what I did with everybody here in studio was like a microcosm. Usually somebody in the crowd heckles. I love that. I love to include it. I love to work off of it because this isn't our show alone. It's our show, the collective. Right, so I like that. That's why I do that, to include the audience. But also because I am a dense lyricist, man. There are at least 5 degrees of separation between the words that you're reading for the lyrics and the actual meaning.
Okay.
So while I enjoy folk metal for the fact that you can all just get together and party and drink and whatever, at the same time, I'm a snobby intellectual jackass who thinks too highly of himself. So I like to make sure that, the work I put into the lyrics does get across somehow. So I'll give that Cliff Notes version of the meaning at the beginning, partially to do that and partially just to say, audience, I am not trying to leave you behind. Just, come be part of this with us is what the idea is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some bands who can get away with just playing straight out, never saying a word.
Yeah.
And it works because of the style of music they're playing. Like Fields of the Nephilim would do that.
Oh, yeah.
Carl McCoy did not speak until the very end, and they said, thank you, goodbye, and that was it.
Yeah, and there are bands like Wolves in the Throne Room.
Right.
If you're very drony or soundscapey, I feel like it tends to work well.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then it's say stuff.
And there are some people who don't have the charisma to talk.
I mean, if you think that I'm charismatic, everybody here play D&D or some form of role-playing game. Like, I rolled a 2 on my charisma check, like, all the time. So, I don't know.
Yeah, you have
Allegedly.
you have the charisma. You're okay.
All right, at least my nat stats will get me through this, I guess.
How many new songs did you play tonight that are not released anywhere?
That are not released anywhere?
I think none of them.
None of them are
okay.
not released anywhere, but we do have some that aren't released, like, heavy anywhere.
Oh, okay. So you took the acoustic stuff
And made it heavy. Like, Solar Pageant comes to mind.
Solar, Noose. Parlor Trick.
Parlor Trick.
Soil.
Yeah.
Soil.
yeah.
Yep.
The majority of the set, with some exceptions, like there were some songs from whatever Keeps the Lights On. But we are going to be recording another album of reinterpretations. That's going to be our next project.
Dragging some of the old acoustic stuff into sunlight and making it heavier again, essentially.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And when are you doing that?
We don't even have a set date for that
okay.
yet. We just know it's going to be soon. Like, this year is going to be one where we do, I think, one more show this year. We start rehearsing the material, and I mean, I just bought a house with my wife, so I'll be busy with that. Rob Beard's busy with Wandering Oak and Helianthus and Oneropolis and all the other stuff he's got.
Oh yeah, that's another project Eric and I have.
Yep, Eric Sunji's got his own stuff. Dan Barbarian's got his 3 bands to work with. Like,
got all your salsa dancing.
Yeah, Sunji's salsa dancing, and PETA. Like, PETA
Vaguely want to start something with like none of these people.
He's gotten sick of us. That's the thing. So
He's like the odd man out. He's literally the folk musician that stumbled the
You guys stumbled into my apartment.
Yeah, we did. The hapless, because he's married to the bassist of Wandering Oak, who's like one of my best friends forever, and so we just always hung out. And then when I started playing with Goblin, he started coming over and, like he just said, stumbling into his apartment, and through, I suppose, a patented blend of osmosis and peer pressure, wound up playing in a folk metal band, and has not been able to get away from it ever since.
Yeah, it's not just the Hovel curse.
Do you have another show booked?
We do,
Yes.
yeah. July 12th at Psychic Garden, right?
Yes. This is not announced yet, but consider this the first announcement. It is us, a band from Baltimore called Night's Edge, who are pretty cool. Fourth Dominion and Fox 45. And that will be, like you said, July 12th, which is a Saturday at Psychic Garden. And,
Where's Psychic Garden?
So Psychic Garden is it is on South Plymouth in the refinery in Rochester.
I know nothing of this place.
It's where Small World Foods is.
Yeah, it's kind of growing or something newish, and I think they've been in a couple locations before, but they're like
It's one of those
really,
Ask a
like,
Punk
having
places.
more. Yeah,
It's definitely an Ask a
absolutely.
Punk. They have an Instagram page where you can message them for the address.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a great spot.
It's going back to our roots, the whole like DIY basement shows.
It seems like a lot of the shows are sort of drifting more towards the underground for various reasons. It just seems like the times are changing, and we're going more DIY again.
It has been a long time since we played a punk house with a dog, which is something that I would like to correct at some point in the coming years.
Okay. So all your stuff is available on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have other social media?
We have Facebook, which is kind of run by these guys.
Facebook, Instagram. We're on Spotify. Just the 2 heavy albums are on Spotify right now.
If I remember right, a lot of the folk stuff stuff is free on Bandcamp.
Yeah, it's part of the whole like original ethos of folk music belongs to the people and it shouldn't have to be sold back to them. So you can donate if you want. God knows we need it to afford his pedal board, my voice lessons.
Yes, producing metal albums is more costly, so we kind of just have to charge a little bit, but it's still pretty reasonable. We try to keep it reasonable.
All right, is there anything else people should know about you guys that we did not cover?
People should know about us. I mean,
do you have any music videos?
We are working on one.
Okay.
We are working on one right now. As a matter of fact, I believe 2 weekends from now, I'm going to be doing the wrapping up shots with a couple of our friends, Christine and Dean. And they've been at this for a while. They've been doing music videos for a while. So I'm working with them. We already got all the band footage and some of the plot footage filmed. It's going to be for Gabish Kavrat, the second song we played tonight.
Okay.
And that, I don't know when that'll be out, but I know that it is in the works, and I know that it's too late to go back now.
Yes. We all...
Sorry.
No, you're okay. Sorry.
I was wondering, with all the different releases, especially on Bandcamp, I saw a couple of the album covers on YouTube. Like, who works on the album covers?
A variety of people.
It definitely looks like it. They're really cool.
So originally, we had a gentleman by the name of Justin Groff working with us. He does the painted ones, like Wonders Gone Dark, La Città di Tre Volti, Roots That Broke the Stone. He did those 3 big ones.
Did he paint Loveless?
He did paint Loveless, Loyalist, Lost. You're right.
That was in my basement for like 3 years.
Yeah, now it's mounted on my house wall.
That was one of my favorites so far. Like, I mean, they're all really good, but I was noticing that one.
Yeah, Groth is a great artist. We haven't worked with him in a while because he's been like way backed up and busy. We've also used my friend Alessio Ciancio, who is the vocalist of Deadly Carnage, a black metal band from Italy. He did the cover for Gabish Kavrat, the new album. He also did I think there were a few other ones that he did just kind of in the background. Can't remember which ones they were now, of course, because I'm on the spot. But I also did this thing where I went to like high school and college art shows in my town. Mm-hmm. And for the cover of On the Bright Side of the Dark Forest, like I was going to vote. The voting polls were in my old high school, and there was an art show going on at the same time. I saw that painting. I was like, I don't know who this is, but I need to have their contact. That needs to be the album cover. Yeah, she happened to be standing right next to me at the time, so she's like, "Oh, that's me. I'll work with you for a measly pittance." I'm like, you gotta understand, I'm not gonna make too much money on this because it's being given away for free.
Right.
And she was like, "Nah, it's just something for my portfolio. Here you go." So
that's cool.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Bernie
I was just
Woodbury,
looking at it. I was gonna ask, but yeah, you answered. So
yeah, and then for the online version of Whatever Keeps the Lights On, there was another young art student who did the whole like Art Nouveau face with the coral snake going into it. That was another young artist, Mason Shank. Also, thank you to Mason. But I do what I can to look around, and I'm already scooping musicians off the street, trying to give them something to do. If I can help young artists get even like a smidgen of recognition, just a little bit, even if it's in the underground, I'm gonna do it. Like, I love doing that sort of thing.
it's great.
Okay, so anything else we didn't discuss?
Anything to add, boys?
Nothing really comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think we
Talked about the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about pretty much everything, so I think that about covers it. The rest will remain a mystery.
Stay tuned for more from the menagerie of bands we've discussed.
Yes. Do
And
you
more
want to
Hovel?
touch on, since I actually don't remember, the if there's a difference in versions of Gabish Kavrat listening online versus physical? I forget.
There is one difference. Yeah, you're right. And that is if you get the physical copy, you get the album exactly as it is. But if you go on the Bandcamp page and get the digital version, you get the versions of the song that have none of the like the audio drama, none of the intermittents. So if
it's just the songs.
Yeah, so if you think the audio drama concept was stupid, and you're not alone, I thought I was stupid for writing it too.
If you detest whimsy and your heart is cold and dead,
Sometimes you're just in the mood to listen to the songs,
and you can do that. Yeah, you can do that with the digital album. You get that, you buy that, and it comes with the no drama edits, all free. So you can have your stuff for that too.
Interesting.
I feel like your statement will be echoing in my head later. What you just said. I'll be driving around. I hear it in my head.
If you lack whimsy, and if you lack whimsy,
I might even say it to myself when I'm alone.
You will forever question the level of whimsy in your soul after this.
As if the songs themselves don't have whimsy.
It's true. One must be somewhat whimsical to engage with.
If you need only a meager helping of whimsy, you can just listen to the song.
Recipe for that. That is what I will conclude on. Is recipe for listening to Goblin Hovel is a healthy sense of whimsy, a little dose of misanthropy, and a lot of, I guess you could say, self-awareness, willingness to be broken down, if you will, by people who sometimes don't know what they're doing. And most of the time do.
All right. Well, with that, I thank you for coming out and playing. It was a great performance.
Thank you for having us.
This conversation was a blast.
It always is with you guys. I love you.
Always
guys.
enjoy talking with you.